Season of Discovery's Phase 7 is about to explode onto the scene, complete with an all-new Karazhan Crypts dungeon, twisted Naxxramas encounters, and jaw-dropping surprises straight from Classic's most iconic lore. Imagine purifying the corrupted Ashbringer, forging the legendary Attunements, or literally kicking Medivh in the face. If that doesn't get your blood pumping, I don't know what will. But you just can't waltz into Phase 7 empty-handed, so this guide is going to cover every crucial step to get you raid ready in record time. That way you won't miss a single loot drop or any epic moments. Before we dive in though, definitely let me know in the comments, what are you most hyped for in Phase 7? Personally, I cannot wait to explore Karazhan in all its eerie and cryptic glory. Trust me, you're not going to want to skip this adventure either. So the first thing you need to do to get ready for Phase 7 is hit 60 really fast, because nobody's going to take you to the raids if you're below level 60. The big thing you need to know is that all your powerful new rune abilities, the things that make SoD so awesome, they're just available at vendors now in the starting areas. The catch is that you need armor to put the runes on, so you've got to ask your friends, ask your guild, and that way you can get a full set of overpowered abilities before you even start. As for the leveling itself, I definitely recommend using the Rested XP completely free 1 to 22 guide. That guide will take you all the way to 25 because you're getting that massive 150% XP bonus. Then from 25 to 34, I definitely recommend grinding the Duskwood Incursion mobs, either solo or with a friend. From 37 to 47, you just Ashenvale mob grind in the Incursion. That's very fast. Then from 47 onwards, you're either picking up a few Feralis quests, you're mob grinding, or you're heading to the Hinterlands to farm the Dragonkin. I would definitely also recommend from 53 onwards to hit up the daily Blackrock Mountain event, and you're getting a ton of XP and a ton of gold as well. So once you hit 60, it's gearing time. The first question we have to ask is, what gear do you actually need to get caught up for Karazhan Crypts and Naxxramas? The answer is really not that much gear. You can get away with just Tier 1 and Tier 2 gear in every slot, and just having an epic is good enough. That's because most players are going to replace a lot of their BWL and AQ40 gear with an entirely new system we'll be talking about later in the video. So as for getting that full set of Tier 1 and Tier 2 epics, the easiest way is to join as many pug dungeons as you possibly can. Every single dungeon from 48 onwards, the bosses drop this currency called the Tarnish Undermine Reals. At Pix and Booty Bay, these turn into full Tier 1 Molten Core gear sets, and you're also getting accessory pieces from Blackwing Lair 2. With just a mix of Tier 1 epics and leveling greens, you have more than enough to join Molten Core Real runs, and you'll be getting free Reals and gear too. From there you can just do Zul'Gurub groups, even Blackwing Lair runs, and you're getting more Reals and more free gear too. Then if you still have time before Naxxramas, you'll be more than geared enough to do AQ10 groups, AQ20 groups, if you can find them. So with our basic level of epic gear done, our character's already ready for Karazhan Crypts, and we just need to get Nax ready. First though, let's get all of our attunements and reps out of the way right now. There are two major attunements we need to do, one for Karazhan Crypts and one for Naxxramas. For Karazhan Crypts, the attunement's going to be discovered on January 28th, but we know it's going to start in Light's Hope Chapel, so that's where I'm going to park my character. As for the Naxxramas attunement, you've got to be at least honored with Argent Dawn reputation. Then you'll have to bring money and expensive materials like Nexus crystals, arcane crystals, righteous orbs. The trick is, the higher your reputation, the cheaper the attunement, and Exalted is completely free. On top of your normal attunement though, you'll also really need to get the Seal of the Argent Dawn trinket for Naxxramas. As for why you want that Seal of the Dawn trinket so badly, well, this is where the most important prep step in Phase 7 comes in. See, the Seal of the Dawn trinket is at the core of this new sanctified gear system in Phase 7. Every class is going to have a Seal of the Dawn trinket that gives increased damage, increased healing, increased threat. It's role relevant, role specific. It's also based on exactly how many pieces of sanctified gear that you're wearing. Let's say you have a level 1 Seal of the Dawn trinket and 1 piece of sanctified gear. That would mean you might get 2% increased damage. Except that's where it gets completely crazy, because your Seal of the Dawn trinket has an entire retail-style upgrade track. That upgrade track is going to require specific materials from Naxxramas to upgrade. So while having 5 pieces of sanctified gear and a level 1 trinket might mean that you're weaker than an AQ40 character, if you have 5 pieces of sanctified gear and a level 10 trinket, you might get 100% damage increase. That would make your AQ gear look like complete trash by comparison. The catch though, and there had to be a catch, is that this is similar to the Ice Crown Citadel system in Wrath of the Lich King. The upgrades are unfortunately time-gated by the server itself. The other catch is actually getting that insanely powerful sanctified gear in the first place. We know all your new Tier 3 gear from Naxxramas is gonna be sanctified, and it's going to scale very well with your Seal of the Dawn trinket. The question though is, where do you go to get sanctified gear before the raid comes out? The first answer to that is definitely the Scourge Invasion event. To get started, you can optionally pick up some of the new quests in the Light's Hope Chapel, and then you're going to want to head to the purple skull icons on your map anytime they're up. All you've got to do from here is kill Scourge mobs, and ideally you're doing that with your Argent Dawn commission equipped to get free Argent Dawn reputation. The mobs you're killing, they're going to drop necrotic runes, and those are going to turn in for new armor at the Argent Quartermaster. Even better, the Scourge Invasion armor is going to be sanctified and epic as well, and that makes it pretty much pre-biz for any character heading into Naxx. So back to the event though, as you're killing the Scourge mobs, you've definitely got to keep an eye out for rare mobs, because they can drop things like the epic bracers as well. Then as the event is progressing, you can pay cultists in the middle of the area to spawn a Shadow of Doom. Those Shadow of Dooms are so important to kill, because they're going to be dropping 30 necrotic runes in an epic chest as well. Outside of the invasions themselves, as a bonus, there's going to be additional rare mobs in some of the instances too. Places like Attunements are going to have new bosses with more gear, and this is going to be perfect for both levelers and for pre-biz raiders as well. The second way you can get some of the sanctified gear before Naxxramas comes out is from the Karazhan Crypts themselves. Karazhan Crypts is the new dungeon coming January 28th, and every single piece of armor is going to be sanctified from here. All you've got to do is head into Karazhan Crypts for your daily heroic lockout and get as many sanctified pieces as you can, and you're going to be on the fast track to Naxxramas domination. I know I'm very pumped to get my full set of catch-up gear on my ults without really raiding AQ40 much, but do you guys think it's unfair to those longtime AQ raiders that people are going to be getting so much catch-up gear so quickly? So one last way to get sanctified gear is going to be from the new crafted frost resistance pieces. The problem is that these pieces won't be craftable until you get those frozen runes, and the frozen runes drop from inside of Naxxramas itself. The pieces are going to be so fantastic, they're going to have Naxxramas ready stats, they're going to be sanctified, and that makes them absolutely must-have if you can get the materials. If you've got the money, my recommendation is wait until some of the most serious raiders, they go in, they get the frozen runes, and then you can just buy the crafts a few hours after the raid comes out. That does lead us to the final step of raid prep, which is making the money to pay for the consumes, for the crafted gear, for the Naxx attunement. The most logical way to make that money is going to be spamming Stratholme and Attunements as much as you possibly can. That'll get you the free Argent Dawn rep, and it'll also give you a chance at Righteous Orbs or Dark Runes to sell too. Another one of my favorite ways to make gold right now is doing any kind of dungeon and raid like Molten Core for example. Every single boss you kill, boom, you're getting Tarnished Undermine Reals, and those turn in for damage supply crates for reagents like Black Lotus that sell really well. So there we have it, our catch-up for Phase 7. It is so easy to level, it is so easy to get catch-up raid gear, and the sanctified gear means you can really skip a lot of the AQ40 pieces and not be behind at all. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments on your thoughts about catching up in Phase 7. I'm really happy I'm going to be able to play my Hunter without having to stress at all about catch-up. It's just going to be that easy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, because I've got an epic deep dive going deep into the Scourge Invasion event coming later this week. Also, make sure to check out my huge video on everything new coming in Phase 7 you don't want to miss.